Hey everybody, it's Videobob. I want to talk about adding USB ports to your RV or coach. Now, this is something that's just essential nowadays. You know, this coach like this one, this is a 1990 Prevo, and back then people didn't have a lot of personal devices to plug in. Most things that you plugged in were toasters, blenders, TVs, things like that. Personal devices back in the 80s and the 90s ran on batteries. They didn't even have rechargeable systems, or you didn't plug it in. If you had a Walkman or a Dixman or a radio or even a Game Boy back then, it just ran on some AA batteries. It wasn't a big deal. But now everybody's got a phone, a tablet, a GPS. You know, even my shaver plugs in using USB. Just about everything charges using USB. So I wanted to add USB to this little part. This is a little booth area here, and there's the couch on the other end. So what I did was I added this external box here with these two really cool outlets. I'm going to talk about those here real quick. So this one, this weird looking one here, this has actually got 4 USBs in place of where a plug would be. This one has 2 electrical outlets and a regular USB, and then this is a USB-C. Now, USB-C is the new USB that's out on everything. All the new Apple products, the MacBook Air, the new iPad Pro comes with USB-C, and a lot of the other Android devices use USB-C. USB-C is a higher data rate and more powerful, runs at a full like 5 amps of power, whereas the old USB 1 was like 1 amp, and then USB 2 was like 2 amps. So USB-C is what all the new stuff is going to be going to, and I can predict that by probably next year, most of the Apple devices will be running on USB-C, and they'll all be using these little plugs like that. So I wanted to future-proof it and put a little both in there. But most devices, you know, whether it's my Bluetooth headset that I use when I'm driving, or the GPS, or like I said, my shaver, or phone, or tablet, you know, my GoPro, like, you know, here's my little charger that goes to my GoPro, and it plug it in with a USB. I can plug it in right now. There it is, and start charging my GoPro battery. Look at that, it's charging. So the thing is, people get in the bus, and the first thing they want to do is they want to plug in. They want to plug in their phone and their tablet and whatever else they have as soon as possible and start working. So the great thing about this design is you could be sitting here at the desk, and you could, if you had a regular, you know, Microsoft style laptop that uses regular power, you could plug into the power, or you could use the USB directly to plug in your MacBook Air or your iPad. The people behind me can plug in the USBs. I don't think I need to sell you on this. We all know we want more USB outlets. Now, how did I do it on this particular one? On most of these panels and most of these buses, like, I need to pop that in there. They have these little pop-out covers, right? They pop out, and then there's a channel running here, and that's the rib of the bus if you have a Prevo like I do. But generally, if you look around, you'll find that they run power lines for both speakers, maybe like up here we have a thermostat, electrical power outlets and things usually run along the base or along the top, and you can usually tap into it. I got lucky. Right underneath this booth I'm sitting is mounted the subwoofer to my Bose Acoustimass 10 speaker system, and the subwoofer is mounted under here, and there's a power outlet under here, and all I have to do is lift up this cushion, and there's a plug under there. So what I did was I pulled this thing back, I drilled a hole through this Corian, went back behind this cushion, that's my little charger there, plugged in, and plugged it in. So this is what I did. Without having to do any extensive wiring, I just bought a regular little lamp extension cord. It was $1.83, a little white cord, snipped the end off of it, run it through a little hole, wired it into this, because look, we're doing low power. We're plugging phones into this, and even if we plug something into the AC, we're not plugging a blender or a toaster oven in there. We might plug a laptop or something, a few amps, so something that a regular extension cord would handle, and it's plugged into the outlet, and that outlet is automatically already on a breaker. So solved a couple of things. Now, I will say these kind of plugs, these type of things are kind of expensive. I think this one here was 20, and this one was 30, and then the box was another 10, and then the seamless cover was probably another. So what do I got? Like 30, 40, 50, 60. I probably got 70 bucks into this plug, but look how cool it is. It's so awesome. Now, if you don't want to spend that kind of money, there are other options. Here's something I picked up at Sam's Club, made by Sharper Image. It just plugs into any outlet, and it's got a little cord wrap and a place to hold your phone, and it's got 2 outlets, and it has USB plugs on it. This one I found at Costco. This one is pretty cool. This is a much more beefier version. Has like 6 plugs on it and 4 outlets, so there are lots of those. But you can get just the individual outlet and replace an outlet. You know, like here, let me show you one. I'll let me take you on a little journey through the back of the Prevo into the bedroom so I can show you what I did here. Turn this light on. All right, so what I did right here is I added this outlet. Get this back here. I added this outlet where there was not an outlet. And this is a little magnet thing. So I have a little short cord that plugs in here, and I can put my phone here and leave it and plug it in, and that's what this magnet's for. So it was easy to access this from the back, from inside here. And I knew there was already electricity in here running this DVD player and all this other stuff. So I tagged in. But another thing that you could do is if you already have an electrical outlet somewhere, you can pick up one of these USBs. And I'll put a link in the description so that you can order the ones that I did. And they range in different prices depending on what they do. But you could, if you know how to do electrical, you could simply replace all of your electrical outlets around the coach, which there usually aren't that many. But you can add little USBs to them because you never know where you want to plug in. You usually want to plug in right by the bed, right by the couch, right by your driver's seat. And believe it or not, on a lot of buses, just like mine, I have electrical outlets that are right there by the driver's seat. So I think I'll probably add another one there. I did add one down to the passenger seat where there was a plug down to the right of the seat, and I put one of those USB-C and regular USB plugs in there. So these are just some suggestions on how you can update and modernize your coach so that it will accommodate all of the people who want to come in, especially if you got kids. But listen, I'm 44. I want to plug in my iPhone. Everybody wants to have more power and to be able to plug all their stuff in. And I swear, it seems like I've got a gazillion things that, you know, like I have a TV remote that plugs in. I have this little rechargeable light that I use all the time, constantly, that I have to plug in USB. My shaver plugs in USB. You know, the phone, the tablet, these other little monitors that I use over there. I have another flashlight over there, my GoPros, my camcorder, my little... I have a lot of stuff that plugs in USB. That's what I'm trying to say. So check the link in the description to order one of those. And please share this video with your other friends that are into upgrading their coaches. And please subscribe. I'd like to get a little bit more subscribers, some more viewers, and we're going to be coming up with some really cool other stuff. And thanks so much for watching on Videobob.